Hi, I'm Don Stanek, and welcome. This segment is everything to do with technology. What are the things you're paying for? What are the things you're using? What are you not using? And how do you even start combing through this? This is a great exercise to do at least one time a year, and I don't recommend that you do it more than once a year because you might find yourself in kind of a chaotic churn if you're always trying to reassess the tools that you're using. A great recommendation that I've employed through my entire career is give something time to work. First, identify what the problems and the issues are before you make a selection to use a technology piece, and make sure that your criteria are founded in reality and to support your business habits. And then learn it, master it, let it run for a little bit and see if it's working. So we have a habit of accumulating technology because it's interesting or someone else talked to us about it. But is it effective? Are we being effective in what we have to do with our technology? So for this discussion, I want to kind of break this down into two big categories. You've got system and you've got process. And so systems are, in fact, all these technology pieces that you're paying for and utilizing to run your business. And then a process or a method, process has to do with your behavior with that system. So many of us in the past got enticed and we bought a CRM or subscribed to a CRM, and it made all these claims. It's going to integrate well with your email, and it's going to send all this stuff. It's going to work great with your calendar. And then we kind of hit a stumbling block, and maybe some of the promises that were on the front end of that conversation were not made really clear. We made a purchase decision, and then it didn't end up working out for us. So, but here's the thing. Are you still paying for that legacy system? Are you still paying for a system that you're not utilizing? And are you not utilizing it because of, is it purely an education thing? Is it a professional development where you just have to set time aside to learn it? Or have you really put forth a good effort to try to learn it, and it's just not state of the art, and it's just not delivering on the promises that you thought you were going to get when you first paid for it? Okay. Once a year, I want you to go through and make a very clear assessment of, are the tools that you're currently using, are they in alignment with business productivity, or are not, like you're just not using them? So let's get started. Okay, in order to be really effective at this exercise, you got to do first things first. What I want you to do is make a list of all the systems that you interact with in your business. Now, this might take a little bit more time than you realize, because the truth of the matter is you're probably interacting with a lot of systems that you just do it so naturally that you don't even realize that you're doing it. Break open a spreadsheet or even a Word document or something and start making a list. Now, here's some obvious ones that need to be on the list. You interact with some kind of an MLS with your real estate, with your board of realtors. So inside that MLS, you've got all these different complex things that you may or may not be aware of. Number two, and probably the most underutilized tools that realtors use and they have on their phone is basic Google apps, right? So do you have shared calendar, sheets, Word documents, and then, of course, all the Microsoft products. Do you interact with Microsoft? Now, how do you deal with your email? Is it, do you use Google? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes Google Enterprise, maybe it interfaces with Outlook. Maybe yes, maybe no. Why is this important? Because sending and receiving email is just as much art as it is science. With regards to email, are you using a mass email promoter? Are you like MailChimp or one of these other mass email protocols? Don't forget any of these systems. When it comes to handling your documents, what documents protocol are you using for signature? Is it Dotloop, or is it DocuSign or SkySlope or any number of these other systems? Just start by doing first things first. Make a list of these systems that you're interacting with. Now, I also want you to pay particular attention to the systems that you might be paying for that you're no longer utilizing. And what I recommend is when you go and buy software online or a subscription model, that you use a specific credit card for that, and that you review that statement and just, take a look at it at the end of the year when you start to, think about your taxes. Are you still paying for Contactually? What the heck is that? I don't know. It's a contact manager. got bought up by someone else, disappeared. Now, hopefully they're not billing you any longer, but the truth of the matter is it's up to you. Take a look at your credit card statement, use the same credit card for maybe all your systems so that you can consolidate this stuff. As you take a look, are you not utilizing something? And if you're not utilizing it, consider shutting it off. Consider shutting it off. But before you do that, maybe find a way to export any of the information that's in there. The first step is just make the list. If you don't know what you're using and you don't know what you're paying for, then it doesn't make sense to launch into some kind of change in your behavior until you can really assess, is a change necessary? Okay, the next list that I want you to make when you're assessing your technology packages is your digital footprint. What are all the places online that you're going to appear as a realtor, both paid sites and not paid sites? So this is going to include your own website. It's going to include your social media accounts, but there's a lot of things, a lot of profiles that you can fill out online to help kind of boost your online image. And so Realtor.com or Zillow or any of these other platforms that have a free opportunity for you to add information. What do you look like online? Is it consistent? I understand you probably have like a business page for Facebook and personal page, and that's a whole nother discussion. But what do you look like online? If I were to do a Google search of you, what's going to show up? Is your website prominent? Are you paying for a website? Are you paying for someone else to manage your website? And what does that look like? So if you're struggling with this, the first thing you want to do with your whole social media platform is make a list of the places that you're going to appear most frequently. Why? Because before I list a property, I'm probably going to do an internet search of my listing agent and see, okay, this person claims to be brilliant at marketing because they're a listing agent and their core sense should be being a market and advertising. Well, what do they look like? What do they look like online? If you haven't established a very clear brand identity at this point in your business, then at least start by making how you look online incredibly consistent, so that if I see you on Instagram, or if I see you on X, or if I see your Facebook page, or if I see your website, I kind of can look at it and say, because the fit and the finish and the style and the branding is consistent. I know who that is. Yep, I gotcha. So why is this so important? Because your digital footprint is your resume to the world. Even if you're not promoting yourself online and you're not paying to have that promotion done, it's the basic truth that you're standing out there in the public square, the digital public square, and how you dress and how you present yourself and how you put yourself out there is essential. Make that list. Don't forget your YouTube channel if you do or if you don't have one, or if you have Vimeo, or if you're using BombBomb. Make a complete list of all the technology that you're using and all the technology that is public facing, and start with the list. Okay, the next thing I want you to do, now that you've got this list of 10 or 15 or 50 computer systems that you're interacting with on a regular basis, what I want you to do is I want you to put them in categories. I want you to put a little annotation next to that category. So here are the categories that you need to consider. Is this a marketing piece of equipment? Is this a marketing tool or an operational tool? Those are two categories. And then there's other categories, and that is, how is this getting paid for? Is this part of my MLS dues? Is this tool included because I'm a member of a board of realtors? Is this technology included because I'm a member of a state board of realtors? Many state board of realtors across the country have forms, right? So they have WIN forms, or they've got fill-in legal documents for all 50 states. So as part of your state dues, you probably have access to that technical library of documents, that document library. Make sure you make a note of that. Now, is it free? Of course it's not free, because what do you pay? You pay state dues year in and year out. So what are you getting for that? What are you getting for your state dues? Well, you're getting the library of documents, but there might be some other things that are within your State Board of Realtors website that could be highly beneficial for you. As a disciplined habit, you need to go, and as you're reviewing, okay, I pay my state dues, and what am I getting in return? Okay. Same with local, right? So one of the most powerful things that we all have access to is the MLS. And many of us will spend additional money to a very sophisticated web designer out there. We all know who they are, like Agent Image or even someone else. And so what they're fundamentally doing is taking the information that I already have for included in my board of realtors. They're taking that information and they're creating a different user experience for me to interface with that data and for me to help the public interface with me with that data. But at its core, I have access to the information, just like their product is laying over the top of my MLS access to make things maybe more easy or more convenient or kind of prepackaged. It doesn't mean it's necessity, right? Because if I have access to the data and if I have a disciplined habit of staying on top of what my board of realtors and my MLS access is actually getting for me every year, then I might realize, well, geez, every year they kind of added the feature and they add a feature and they add a feature. And before you know it, there's a lot of power in your MLS interface and that technology tool just as it's sitting. So the reason I bring this up is because if you're just starting out or if you're struggling to kind of find money for your marketing budget, I would encourage you to take a deep dive into what are the tools that you're already paying for and what is the capacity and the technology that is available to you, that if you just take a little bit of effort to learn a little something, then maybe you don't have to spend $500 or $600 or $900 or $1,200 a month for a big flashy website. Now, the truth of the matter is if you're paying money for a big flashy website, you better be getting what you're paying for. There's a lot of capacities inside these websites, and they want to upsell you all the time. Just make sure if you are paying a large amount of money on a monthly basis to someone who's got an IDX feed pulling off your MLS, and they're packaging this great thing is, okay, it's going to generate leads for you and you can send out internet searches of properties, right? So we all know that we can do that through our own platform. We don't need to pay $500 or $900, $800 a month for someone else to do that. Now, one exception, you have to do it, right? So we're not talking about the system at this point. Now we're talking about your behavior around the system, right? What are you doing with it? What's the method? What's your behavior with it? But first things first, go and take a look and make these lists. What are the things that you're paying for outright? Like I know I'm paying every month. What are the things that you're paying for as part of your dues? And then what is the kind of the overlap of any of these systems? So we've got marketing systems and we have operational systems. Obviously, anything that deals with money, anything that deals with in-house communication, anything that deals with paperwork, fabrication, delivery, collecting signatures, all these things are in-house operational stuff. All of your public-facing stuff, all your public-facing tools are basically marketing tools, right? So is it an operational tool or is it a marketing tool? And you'll find as you start making these categories, you're going to find that you have overlap. You probably have system overlap in a variety of your systems. Any of us at any given time probably have 4 or 5 contact managers, and we don't even realize that we have 5 different contact managers. We have Google Docs, and we've got a spreadsheet that I put contacts in, and then I've got registration cards that I have people fill out at an open house, and then I've got a CRM, and then I've got, I have contact manager inside my website and my WordPress. So here's my question to you. When you take this and break out these lists, where is the crossover opportunity? Because there's 2 things that happen in crossover. Number one is potential corruption of data. So if you're keeping names and numbers in more than one location, there's a high likelihood that it's not globally updating all of your contact record. In fact, it's probably rare if it would do something like that. So what does this mean? Well, I've got some names and numbers here and some names and numbers here and some here and some here and some here. So what I want you to do first off is take a look at all of the places where you have names and phone numbers. If it's a client, a prospective client, or if it's another a realtor or someone else that maybe a transaction coordinator, all of the vendors. So you have a vendor list and you've got a prospect list, you have a past clients list, but are all these people held within the same global inventory of contact record? You don't want to have replication of contact, because this means you're going to have to enter data in more than one place, and the likelihood that it's going to be standardized goes right down the toilet. Okay, to this end, here's another little thing you need to consider. What are the systems that you have total control over? And what are the systems that you just have partial control over? And what are the things you have no control over whatsoever? So very early in the business, I was affiliated with a brand, and that brand ended up going out of business. And what happened was all my contacts that I was using to promote my listings were held within a database. And I had a limited ability to get those contacts out when I needed them, and the place folded, right? So initially, when you sign up for a brand new brokerage and you're like, well, we have all these technology tools, just use our CRM and just use our website and just use this and this. Well, that's fine, and it seems incredibly convenient. It's incredibly convenient until another company buys them or they go out of business, or you have some kind of a dispute with that company and then you no longer want to affiliate with them. You put yourself in a really awkward position. Now, I'm not saying that you should start a relationship thinking that it's going to be a disaster, but what I do want you to do is I want you to run a great business with some security measures in place for your data, which means I want you to create a document of truth, or a source document of truth. This could be as easy as an Excel document, right? Let's just say you have an Excel document. Inside that Excel document, it's your list of all of your computer systems, and next door to that is a hot link, a link to URL to click on it. Maybe you put your user word and password in there, maybe yes, maybe no. But it's a document that just lives in your world. You don't share it with anybody. And maybe that's one tab. And maybe you've got another tab, and that is all the contacts you have, all the people you know on the planet, all your past sales and all your vendors, and everybody's in this standardized format. It's just first name, last name, contact information, and maybe brief remarks. Now, as a disciplined habit, I would love to see that you maintain this type of record for all of your career, because if something should ever happen to one of your computer systems and all of your past information is in there, then what kind of security do you have in play for your data? You really don't. Now, it's a very disciplined habit to be able to update this, and it's going to cause you to do something that I kind of mentioned that you shouldn't need to do, which is entering information in more than one place. However, if you enter it always into your spreadsheet first and you know it's there, then you can make a choice to put it someplace else. Now, it's very normal to want to hit, when you install a computer software, it says, do you want it to sync with your Google? Do you want it to sync with your Gmail? Do you want it to sync? Yeah, I want it to sync. I want it to sync. Maybe. And you hit yes, and then all of a sudden it syncs and it's talking back and forth. But not all products interact with other products perfectly. And a lot of times there's some formatting in there, or some ghost formatting in there, that if you were to go ahead at some point and export all that information, it's not going to be that clean. It's going to be not so wonderful. So I know it takes some effort, but what I want you to do is establish a document of truth. And that is, I know that all of my contacts are in this spreadsheet. Every single contact is in this spreadsheet, and I have it categorized if it's a vendor, a lender, a home inspector, a past client, prospect, lead. It's in a spreadsheet. Guess what? It's free. You can use Google Docs if you want, or Microsoft products. But long before all these technology things started springing up for realtors to buy, people were running businesses since the beginning of time. And big business got so affordable because of the technology that's available in big businesses. It's, we can sign up for, Microsoft products. It's, $50 a year or whatever it is. For gosh sakes, save this document, and then when you make changes to it, save it under the new date and just keep it in a folder on your desktop. If you meet a brand new person, put them first in your spreadsheet and then decide where they're going to go. If it's in a spreadsheet, guess what? A spreadsheet is kind of a universal donor. So if you end up changing brokerages, if you end up changing CRMs, you want to use a different CRM technology. If you already have everybody in a spreadsheet, then comma separated value import is very easy for you to do data migration from your spreadsheet into your new system. However, if you download into a comma separated value from somebody else's system, like I said, there might be some formatting in there that's not going to be too happy or too friendly for you, particularly if it's already automatically syncing up with your Gmail and you've got duplication of effort and triplication of effort, and all of a sudden there's a conflict in formatting. And so all this gets very technical, but my point is, for goodness sakes, you need to own the things that are important to your business. If you don't own a single source of truth for all of your contacts, then somebody else has some layer of control or authority around that. Doesn't mean they're going to hold your data captive. Doesn't mean they're going to steal your data. In fact, they're not going to steal your data because it's worthless to them. Why? It's because they're not doing transactions. They want you to do the transactions and pay them, right? So don't worry about someone stealing your data. The bigger issue is your data disappearing or you just not having control of it. Remember, source of document, source of truth document. Use a spreadsheet. It's the easiest thing you can do. Okay, I hope these few tricks and tips have been helpful to you. I know that this topic can get incredibly heavy because technology is everywhere and we're just being pulled in so many different ways and things are getting expensive to be able to utilize them. But I hope you realize that it's not really about the best and the brightest and the fanciest. Old school ways work if you make them work. Don't get overwhelmed in this topic. If you need any help or any clarity, or you just want to talk about the systems that you're currently utilizing, I'd love to hear from you. Please get on my calendar and let's talk.